Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you the different types of input tags that you get in HTML. So if I just refresh this to clear my browser screen, now I can use the input tag. Okay, so we have an input. Now there's several types of input tags. I mean, if I don't specify a type, the default is a text box, as you can see here. Okay, this is just a text box, a normal little text box that you can just type your text into, fill in your password, your username, things like that. But I can change the type into I can also specify like that, text. Okay, and then that's just a normal text box, but the default one essentially. So you can also change this into a file. Okay, now this is specifying an input of the file type. So here you cannot now enter a text. So if I do that, refresh, you can see it's asking me to browse and no file selected. So here I can browse and I can select a file. Okay, like this. For this file, this cat mp3 file, I want to upload that. So here you can see that it comes over here, cat.mp3. So like that basically. Now that's just the input type of file. It allows you to upload a file, and you can also customize the way it looks. You can make it maybe a color of some sort, or maybe you can use some external libraries, or you can use CSS or Bootstrap or Tailwind or some other framework to customize this however you want to make it look. Nevertheless, the next input type is button, and this is a button. And of course the text, I mean, it doesn't have a text. So what you want to do is you can also specify the text. And then we have an input type of, let me just, before I go to the next input type, let me just show you how you can specify the name of the button. Okay, so I knew however that the value sets the name of it. So you can see the button is a small little button. If you want to specify, you can say click me, and that's going to make it a clickable button. Now if you want this button to do something, you have to put some JavaScript into it. But anyway, we're not going to do that in this video, so we can delete that. Then I have an input type of checkbox, and that gives us a checkbox. Let me zoom in a little. You can see it's a checkbox that you can check and you can uncheck. Then we have an input type of color. Now this is where it starts to get a bit more interesting, and the type of color isn't really used much. So this is a color type. What this does, I mean, you can just open it up and select a color. I don't know where you'd use this. I mean, obviously there is definitely a use, but you can definitely have a look at that. Maybe there's an online app and you want to customize the color, maybe a game or something, and you want to change the background color, so you can select it like that. And of course you can use some JavaScript to get this information out, or you can use some backend languages to get the information as well. Anyway, the next input type is date, and that gives you a calendar. So you can of course type in the date here manually, okay, like that. But what you can also do is use this calendar here and select a date like that. Select that date. Okay, 17th, and I don't know why this is not 2004. Okay, nevertheless, so that's the date type. Then we have an email type, so I just put an email inside of it. And now the difference between the email type, okay, let me just show you the difference between the email type and the normal text box is that I have to show you another input type, which is the submit button. So if I say type of submit, then this is going to give me a button, submit query. So now if I put in here submit, or let me say I just enter in some random text and I submit, right, the type of email, what it do is that it's going to make sure that you have the @ symbol inside of here, and maybe even the .com. Okay, that's how it just differs from a normal text field. And the password is similar to the text field, except that it hides all the information that you have. Then you have the month type. Here you can just specify a month, simple as that. Here you can just put in your month basically. Then you have a type of, wait, hold on, the month should also have a calendar, but it isn't, so I'm gonna have to have a look into that later. But anyway, you have the next one, which is a type of number. Here you have a spinner and you can specify a number. Then you have a URL type. This is just to take some URL input, so you would have maybe your https www.something.com, like that. Okay, that's the URL. Then you have the radio buttons, type of radio. Then this is going to be a radio button. Then you have the type of range. A range would give you a value, like not a value, like a range of something, and you in the back end, you know, can adjust this range and get some values out of it, or maybe integrate some JavaScript into it. Anyway, then we have the reset button. This is just going to reset everything. Next we have what else do we have? Search. We have a search, and this is just a normal text box, but it's going to search. So once I click submit query, then in a type of search, what you would see is that it will go into your URL right over there, and it's gonna have a query, something like, you know, if I send this into the search, then it's going to have question mark in the beginning, and then it's gonna have this query after that. So that's just the type of search. And then we have a type of submit. Alright, so that's just the submit button. Then we have a type of like a phone number, so a telephone, so type tel. Now here you want to specify your telephone number, so maybe like +1 +91 +92 +27, stuff like that, or maybe zeros like that. And of course you can, you know, put some default inside of this, and you can like format this in a form that does not accept text. It can only accept numbers, although I mean it should be text because it starts with a 0. Numbers do start with zeros, so it should be type of text. But if you don't want to add characters like alphabets inside of it, then maybe you can, of course, limit that. Then you get the type of time. Okay, so the time type. Now time, here you can see that this is the hours, this is the minutes, and probably this is the seconds. So you can just say that, I mean, 4 o'clock 04, and sorry, I said this is seconds, this is actually PM. Sorry, I have never used this, so I'm not I didn't know. So yeah, and probably you can also make this disappear, like, I mean, this PM. For example, if I put a 16 inside of here, 16, then it auto corrects this to a 4. So 16 o'clock is actually 4 o'clock. Nevertheless, the next thing is week. You can also put a week inside of here. You have a type week, so you know the day, the week 4, week 5, stuff like that of the month. Actually week 4 is like that, so week 4, yeah, of the month. Week 1, week 2, so you can just specify like that. Week 27 of 2023, stuff like that, you specify with the week type.